We're at DockerCon 2016 and we're visiting the Portworx booth. Can you tell us a little bit about the company?
Sure. Portworx is working on what we call container-defined storage. It's a new storage architecture that's built for distributed scale-out applications. We're Docker native. What that means is we understand container granular storage. We understand Docker-enabled orchestration, scheduling environments. We work both on-premise and in the cloud. We provide the actual underlying storage implementation. It's blocked with a global namespace feature. It's enterprise. It's got all the enterprise features. It provides SAN-like functionality on basically commodity servers. We're able to get bare metal performance by leveraging new server architectures.
And how do you fit into the Docker ecosystem?
Right, so it works with Docker by talking to the Docker volume plugin interface. We also understand Docker native schedulers such as Swarm, Kubernetes, Mesosphere. So depending on how your containers are scheduled in a multi-host environment, we're able to understand container storage needs, provide the type of volumes that it needs. We're completely behind the scenes. We work with the Docker orchestration environment that a customer uses.
Great. Could we get a quick demo of the product?
Absolutely.
So what are you going to show us?
Yeah, so let me show you PX Enterprise. We just announced it. It's releasing next month. And what it is a multi-cluster ability to manage storage. So right here, if I can show you the UI, it basically is my single control plane to see all my storage across all my clusters. It could be on-prem, it could be in cloud, and you can manage it from one single view. And it's as simple as on every single server, all I have to do is run this startup and it downloads a container, and that container installs Portworx. So I can use Mesosphere, Kubernetes, or any other orchestration scheduler to deploy my storage. Once that's set up, our objective here is really to make it easy, frictionless. Right. And what I'm able to show you here is on the left-hand side, we're going to take a hardware spec, and from that server, or it could be even a VM, we can pick and decide what server drives or storage drives we're going to use Portworx for. And so the objective here is you really want to be able to co-run. It's not a rip and replace. We have to make this evolution seamless. And so after I've installed, at the end, I have in minutes this cluster. And right here, this is a 3-node cluster. And this cluster shows me all my storage, all my containers, and I'm able to see the ties constantly. And we really wanted to make this a visually easy experience, or a pleasing experience. So what I have here is 3 servers. They happen to be running in AWS. If I click on one server, I can see all the containers that are running. I can see all the volumes, and I can see the health of the drives. And also we have this drive pivot, so I can go through, and let's say one day I'm deciding in a physical data center to expand my capacity. I can look at the health, I can see the capacity of the drives. But if I come back to the server itself, I can also start to drill into things like volumes. So from that server, I clicked on a volume that was running on that server. Here I can see that there's a MySQL volume, and what this is every container has its own volume. We guarantee the performance, and from that performance, we're able to inject things like high availability. So if I created a volume, I can sit here and say VMblog vol. We're thinly provisioned. I could choose the file system for that container, and then I could start to prioritize the IOPS. So if multiple containers are running on the same server, I can have guaranteed performance. And then afterwards, I can say things like replicate. And these are all dynamically changeable by the user. And then we have snapshots. And because in this container world it's important to be able to tie everything together, we started to take a very label-centric approach. And so I can start to do labels and create label selection patterns. So it's not just container granular, but I can use things like metadata labels, and I can select multiple volumes, and I can do things like snapshot backup from just the simple things like labels and volume selections.
Very cool.
And one thing we have that is a little unique from this container converged world is not only can this volume be used per container, but multiple containers can read write to this volume. So by simply toggling the shared, I'm allowing multiple containers to mount and use that volume for things like parallel compute. And so we really want it to be a much simpler experience. We want it to be something that users enjoy, and at the same time, it's easy for them to get started.
Great. Well, thanks for taking the time to speak with VMblog.
Thank you.